Alright, today is going to be my first experience with Poormans Fiberglass. I have some Harbor Freight, I think it's 9x12 canvas. Cut a piece off the size of my door. It's actually bigger than the door. If I can have overhang to cover the sides. I've done all my fill-in work. I made sure my window fit. This is going to be the door for my little tiny houseboat. Done a lot of research on Poormans Fiberglass. I've never done it. I'm using Titebond 3. A lot of people say don't use Titebond 3 because it doesn't bond to itself. But there's two separate methods to do Poormans Fiberglass. The method I'm going to use and the method I'm not going to use. One method, coat the plywood with glue. You lay your canvas, get the wrinkles out, let it dry. And then you come back with multiple layers of paint. That's the method I'm using. The second method is you coat it with glue, lay the canvas, and you continue laying coats of Titebond 2 or I guess 3 over the canvas, and let it all dry. It winds up making a hard shell of glue. I'm not going that route. Titebond 3 is said to be 100% waterproof. Titebond 2 is not. If you go the route with putting the glue over the canvas, you're relying on just your paint to conceal the glue. Which with Titebond 3, I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue because this is a waterproof glue. I'm going with the other method to where the paint is going to bond to the fabric and perform the protective shell I need. Have you ever got a drop of paint on your shirt, let it dry and try to peel it off? It bonds to the fabric. That paint's always going to be on that shirt or whatever you drop that paint on. It's always going to be there. So that's the method I'm going to try. Like I said, it's pretty much the same. It's just one method requires coating the outside of the canvas with a couple of layers of glue and then paint. I'm going to skip the outside layers of glue and just go straight to paint on the outside of the canvas. Both methods are going to work fine. I've seen multiple videos. I think I'm going to have a better bond. The paint's going to bond better to the canvas than it will to the glue. If you apply paint to the glue, I think it will get scratched off easily. If you apply the paint to the canvas, you're not pulling it off of that canvas. So that's the method I'm going to try. I'm using the door I just built for the front of the houseboat as a test subject. The only thing I've done with the canvas, I've used my electric staple gun. I stapled the canvas to one side, and then I'm going to lay my glue and stretch it over. I've done a little bit of work on where my hinges go. I kind of radius my edges a little bit so that canvas could get in there. I'm going to try it out, see how it works. If this fails, it fails. At least it's on a part that I can always rebuild. The door probably cost me $40 of lumber to build. So I mean, if I fail, I'm only losing $40. To where if I do it on the side of the boat, I'll be doing a big section at a time, which is like 3 sheets of plywood. And if it failed there, it'll be a lot harder to dispose of and remove. Where if this fails here, it ought to be easier to deal with in the event of a failure. I'll do an update video once it's dried and done. And hopefully it works out well. There are plenty of things built with Poormans Fiberglass. Airplanes, campers, foamies, canoes. There's even people that built boats using the Poormans Fiberglass method. There's one guy posted up on a YouTube comment. He's been having the same boat for like 20 years that he built out of Poormans Fiberglass. He uses it every summer. It's a small, like a little dinghy. But we're going to see how it works out. I'm going to be relying on the paint as an outer shell to waterproof my canvas. And even if my canvas did get wet, the glue I'm using, Titebond 3, is supposed to be 100% waterproof. So we're going to find out. I'll update when I can. Thank y'all.